Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for a fabulous Goals to Riches Mastery Summit. It has been terrific, and I can't even, begin to tell you just how much I've learned and how much I've gained as a result talking to all of these experts in the fields of leadership and mindset and goal achievement, productivity, overcoming adversity, and building a killer network. And you've been receiving not only the live interviews that went on all day Monday, but also you've been receiving daily expert bonus sessions, just so you really do have the tools, the tips, the resources to declare, own, and achieve your goal so you can create the riches in life that you deserve. So I hope that you've gotten an opportunity to take advantage and really leverage all of these great masterminds this whole week. And I just want to thank you personally for joining in and making this event just absolutely fabulous. Now, I want to be sure this is interactive, and you, even though it's coming to you as a recorded bonus session. I want you to be able to send in comments, feedback. Join our Shift to Riches community on Facebook. It's a private group that really works on helping you be a massive producer, a abundance creator, and a revenue generator. So join our Shift to Riches private group. We'd love to have you. All right. Okay. I think that is all. So let's just segue in. If you haven't been participating, and maybe this is the first one you're seeing, and you don't really know who I am, well, I've been your host all through this Goals to Riches Mastery Summit, Bernadette Boas. I am a transformation and performance success coach, and my business is Fire Coaching, and I really do work every day to help individuals, professionals specifically, who are passionate, purposeful, and productive, but yet they just want more. They want bigger, they want new, they want different. They want to achieve goals that will allow them to, really leave a legacy, but create a legacy, let's say, and just really, create those riches in life that they know they deserve, and they just might have been struggling to achieve. So we are going to be talking productivity hacks today, because it came to mind not only setting up the summit and all the experts that I was bringing into it, but the one thing that many of you struggle with, and trust me, I do too, struggle with, is just really staying focused, staying really clear, staying very persistent, getting rid of the distractions, kind of managing what goes on between your ears, in your heart and your head, and really kind of what I call constant action consistently. So constant action consistently, because I also believe in small steps lead to big results. So if you happen to be struggling, if you're stuck, if you're lost, if you're unsure, I had someone join our Shift to Riches community just the other day. And one of my questions when you join is, what is one of your biggest challenges with your goals? And it was where to start. And that's great, because you know the challenge that you're having. And therefore, everything that we do within the Shift to Riches community, and what the whole purpose of the Goals to Riches Mastery Summit has been, is to give you those tips, tools, and resources to say, okay, I'm not sure where to start, but now I have some things that I can start taking action on. And today's conversation around productivity hacks is just going to be kind of adding to that conversation and providing you both mindset type of productivity hacks, as well as some very tactical disciplines, habits, and routines that you can start instilling if you don't already. All right, fair enough. Okay, so chat, love to see you live. Oh, Philip, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you very, very much. So let's get into this, shall we? And if you do have questions, if you do have comments, put them into the chat. I am watching as best I can while I'm still providing you this conversation. Okay. Now, as you can imagine, I've been talking all week. So if I happen to be, drinking more water during a session than usual, you'll understand why. Okay. I want to first focus on your mindset, because you can have the best plans in the world, very well defined. You know, I'm a SMART goal advocate. So you can have them so beautifully defined. You can, have your kind of your top priorities, top 3 priorities. We'll talk about all that in a minute. And yet, if you're struggling mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, with anything, it's going to get in the way of you being able to take those steps, whether they are small or big. And so my first suggestion to anybody is to spend each and every day focusing on where are you in your head and in your heart. I share a lot with those in my community around the fact that I have a morning routine where even before I put my feet on the ground, I wake up. And as I wake up, and I don't jump out of bed like I used to for 25 years, I kind of go still and I go quiet. And I really, as I'm kind of meditating / praying / just getting into, a good state of being, paying attention to my breath, I then assess from toe to head how I am feeling. So physically, how does my body feel? How do my toes feel? How do my legs feel? How does my, my stomach, my gut, what's my gut telling me today? How does my heart feel? Is it heavy? Is it excited? How does my, my shoulders, I carry everything in my shoulders and my neck, probably very much like many of you. So, how does that feel? And then where's my head at? And, am I optimistic? Am I, kind of negative? Am I positive? Am I, drained? And, going through that, and it takes just a few minutes, going through that gives me an opportunity to say, okay, now I can shift. I'm going to keep those things and even shift them to greater places that where I feel good and energized and excited and positive. But in those areas that I might feel fatigued, or I might feel drained, or I am heavy with worry or thought, then I just sit there and I then go into whatever routine and suggest you do too, whatever routine you have. I happen to pray a lot. I do kind of meditate and get into a visual, universe where I, see my dog that's passed. I see my parents. I see some friends that I've lost. I see a beautiful world that I, love to live in. So that is like a 3 to 4 minute routine every morning. So I can get out of bed and then kind of already had control over how I'm going out into the world. Make sense? So I would suggest whatever your morning routine is, the key here that I'm trying to bring up is self-awareness. If there is one thing that you should work on each and every day, even if it is for 3 to 5 minutes, or it's, from a book and you sit down and read 5 pages or a chapter, whatever the case might be, or maybe you do take some, classes, or maybe you're receiving coaching, each and every day, really focusing foremost on your mindset, where your state of being in your heart and your head. It's going to do you wonders when it comes to achieving your goals. Okay. So that would be kind of my first thing. Staying in this vein of mindset. I suffered for years. And I can't say that I'm free 100% of it now, but I lived about 9% of my life from my 20s to my mid 40s in a state of FOMO, fear of missing out. I raced through my days and through my weeks, months, and years, so worried of missing out on something or being left out of something that I just killed myself trying to be everywhere. And even when I got there, I was like disappointed, or it wasn't as big, think New Year's Eve, you just, for a couple months or maybe just the month before, you're all geared up about how you're going to spend New Year's Eve and what kind of party and what kind of celebration and who you're going to be with. And is there going to be someone, there, a loved one or a new relationship, to be there at the, toll of the hour. And so I race through life, and many of you might deal with the same, one worried that I'm going to be missing out on something. And that was the most draining mental, emotional, spiritual thing, what I call the bees in my world, the bitches in my world, that really just caused me a lot of my misery, a lot of my, I wasn't depressed or sad. I was more feeling left out, more angry, more bitter around certain things. And so, of course, over the years, I worked and worked and worked very hard at it. And so over the last 10, I feel like I've kind of reined it in greatly. But for you, if you have any sense of FOMO, fear of missing out, recognizing what impact that has to your productivity, to your ability to stay focused and ability to be persistent and be really clear about what it is that you're working on, why you're working on it, and what you're willing to sacrifice and compromise on and give up in order to achieve your goals, then really consider whether or not you too have a fear of missing out. Because as a coach, I work with a lot of people, and especially over the years, and all over the globe, and at all different levels of business and personal. And people don't necessarily sit there, again, self-awareness, and say, oh, wait a minute, you're right. This fear of missing out, feeling I have to be everywhere, and I'm disappointed if someone doesn't invite me, and oh, wow, I just got a, indication that some friends went and took off, to the beach, and I wasn't invited. You'd be surprised. It sounds like it would be a 15-year-old, a 30-year-old's concern. And you'd be surprised at, even into our 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s, people still are drained as a result of it. So what I would consider is, if you do suffer with that in any degree, kind of sit back and go, okay, so what if I miss out on that, being invited to a meeting? Let's put it into a real business scenario. This is one that a lot of executives struggle with. Executives, in a middle manager to senior manager, or even, high potential new level managers. And, all of a sudden they're not invited to a meeting. All of a sudden they're not, picked to partake in an initiative or a special project. And, they're taking it very personally. And they're just, kind of having this sense of, I can't miss out. I can't not be there because something's going to go on. And, what if it goes on and I don't, I'm not part of it, and I don't get to experience it, and I don't get to say that I've experienced it. Letting that go is just so freeing, so liberating, to just, because what I've learned over the years, and maybe you have too, is we hold a lot of stuff in our mind. Okay. As magical as our brains are, in our minds, we're holding on to so much junk that is not serving us to really achieve what it is that we are working really hard to accomplish. And the more space you can free up out of your mind, and the better, because then you have room in your mind and in your heart. You have room for all the good stuff, all the things that are going to bring you your goals and your achievements and your successes and your pride and your confidence and your love. Okay. So FOMO, focus on that. Now, a lot of people, they worry, well, I'm not skilled enough, or I'm not talented enough. And that gets in the way of their productivity. I don't, especially for instance, new business owners, they may not recognize at first, even in the first year or two, how important they are to the sales process. I mean, yes, they have to make money, but they really didn't consider early on, that they actually are in sales. Some people call it enrollment. Some people call it presenting, all kinds of different things, but they really don't consider the fact that, oh gosh, I really do need to, become skilled and talented at sales, but I'm not skilled or talented at sales. Well, you know what? Don't worry about that. Recognize that it's a skill that you need, especially if you're not in a place where you can outsource it. And this goes to corporate as well. So for many years, I was always touted from people to go into sales. I was like, I don't like rejection, so no. And I didn't even want to work on overcoming that. I didn't want to work on becoming a good salesperson. I just, it was an immediate, no. But us business owners, we have to. I mean, we either sell or we don't eat. So now, yes, we can outsource it. For those of you out there that are going, well, but at the same time, it is a skill that you need to know. Now, instead of getting in your head and avoiding, ignoring, procrastinating, getting kind of angst over it, instead of doing that, lean on those habits and those routines that you are really good at. So you don't know sales. So instead, you have a real talent and a real strength for planning, for processes, for communication, for you're very resourceful, and all of those things. So planning, okay, so I have to sit back and sit down and, as opposed to getting wigged out over the whole thing of selling, well, I'm going to really plan out an outline, or even put it in a project plan type of thing, all the steps I need to do in order to gain this skill, gain this talent. And it could include hiring other people. So, here, if you have that, those skills and those strengths and those habits and routines, then focus on them, focus on utilizing those toward the goal of leveraging a new, or not leveraging, but learning a new skill or talent. And, that will kind of take away the angst over, and the excuses, quite honestly, and the excuse of, oh, well, I haven't really sold much because I don't know how to sell and I'm not a good salesperson. Well, that's not reason. That's not a reason. You just need to, kind of get over it, move on, and, use the skills, use the routines, use the habits that you are good at to then help you address what it is you feel that you're lacking. Okay. Now, this came up in conversations I've had over the last couple of weeks, because I've been doing all the pre-interviews with the experts for our Goals to Riches Mastery Summit. So I came across James Clear of Atomic Habit. And I've known the book for a while, and I've even, read, and I receive actually his newsletters, that kind of thing. But I was having a conversation with one of the experts, and we were talking about how we as individuals, and let's just focus it on women, aren't really good at receiving compliments. We might give them a lot, but we're not really good. We kind of shrug them off. Oh, it was nothing. Oh, it's just my job. Oh, well, I've been doing it for years, as opposed to if someone gives you a compliment, just slowing down, get out of your head and just be like, why, thank you very much. I've been working really hard at it. Oh, I so appreciate that. I received a couple of emails earlier from a particular individual, and she had seen some of the videos leading up to this summit, and she, sent me an email, and she was like, oh, Bernadette, you look, so beautiful and so energized. And, that those colors and whatever you were wearing look fabulous on you, great job. And I was like, oh, why, thanks. I just kind of like, poo, 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 poo. She sent a follow-up email, and she caps, truly, you look fabulous, because she sensed that I was just kind of, brushing it over. And then I was like, I sat and paused, because I talk about honoring your riches. Okay. Receive those compliments, honor those comments, honor what, people are recognizing about you, honor what you know about yourself. So this is a productivity hack around your mindset, and honor your riches. Take it in, allow it to settle, and be grateful for it, and recognize it, and acknowledge that, the compliment. So one major tip, if you're ever in a funk, if you're ever, just questioning your worth, questioning whether you can do something, questioning your skill or talent, like in the earlier hack, you just kind of really think about all the riches that make up who you are. Don't focus on the negatives. That's really easy, is to focus on the negatives, focus on the positives. Okay. Okay. So it brings me back to James Clear. So James Clear, Atomic Habits, an awesome book that if you really want to amp up your overall focus of habits and routines and productivity, take a look for it. And he has a statement that I absolutely loved, and it's feel compliments as deeply as you feel insults. So when someone, I had a client receive some kind of harsh feedback during performance review, and it hurts. I mean, it hurts. And no, even the strongest person who's really, really confident will struggle at times when all of a sudden, they're receiving some negative, insults or feedback. And so we spend a lot of time in that ugliness. I call it the code of negativity. It's really heavy. It really is heavy, and it weighs us down. So if we could shed that and let go of that and really focus on and feel the power of the compliments as much and deeply as we feel insults, then, you'd be able to springboard off of those, like I said, your riches, but also springboard off those compliments, off those things that you are receiving from others, as a means of saying, great job, thank you, I'm grateful for you, I love you, whatever the case might be. Feel those as deeply as you feel, the negative stuff that goes on around you. And because that, again, we're talking ensuring that, you're productive, you're effective, you're clear, you're focused, you're energized, you're persistent, you're determined. In order to do that, you need to have kind of a wheel of optimism and positivity and energy going on all the time. And to do that and to keep that, you just need to always focus on the beauty, on the riches, not the warts and the bees. Think about it. It rhymes with riches. Anyway, all right, moving on. Gratitude. And this was talked about, this week in our Goals to Riches Mastery Summit. Gratitude is just a beautiful thing. Just really taking time and, kind of appreciating what you have in your life. Now, of course, there's a productivity hack I would give you is, of course, there's an opportunity for you to take 5 minutes every, first thing in the morning, or if you want to do it at the end of the day, to really consider what you truly are grateful for and truly grateful for. Not necessarily the materialistic things that you have in your, life, in your world, but even the little things that happen during your day. I'm grateful for the fact that I had no idea my handyman would be coming by today. And I have a new renter moving in tomorrow, actually. And I was kind of struggling, trying to consider how I was going to get everything done. And the next thing you know, I'm sitting at my desk and he's like, hey, I'm here. And I'm like, I didn't even question, like, what? He had a free day and he decided to stop by because he knew I was a little stressed over this last minute renter coming in just a day or two, of him renter securing the lease. So, so I said to Chris, I said, I truly appreciate the fact that you showed up. I'm so glad that you decided to just stop by to see if I needed anything. And he rides a bike. So, it wasn't as if he just was able to get in his car and drive 5 minutes. So gratitude, really showing someone else also kind of what you're grateful for. Gosh, it's a powerful thing. It is an absolute powerful thing. So your productivity hack, when it comes to really wanting to get out of your head and get out of that, doldrum, or maybe that's stuck, or maybe that just, you're not sure and you're confused or you just need some motivation and energy. just sitting down and really considering what you're grateful for. And then, so that's for yourself, and then sharing it and actually telling someone what you're grateful for. Now, if you listen to my conversation with Linda Rozak Burton, she even mentioned you could even write a letter to someone about, why you're grateful that they're in your life, and share it with them. Not just send it to them, but read it to them. Well, I told her, I was like, she had me crying just thinking about it, because there's especially one person that would absolutely want to do that with. But I know at the same time, the whole time I'm reading it to her, I'm going to be bawling my eyes out. But gratitude is a beautiful thing, Now, I pulled another, before we move on to some very tactical productivity hacks for you. I pulled another thing off from James Clear, because I really just thought it was powerful when I read it. And I thought you might find it the same way. Okay. And I'll share this as a comment, beneath this video after we're done. So James Clear says, success is largely the failures you avoid. Health is the injuries you don't sustain. Wealth is the purchases you don't make. Happiness is the objects you don't desire. Peace of mind is the arguments you don't engage. Avoid the bad to protect the good. I thought that was really awesome, because it really just does show that, all the, negative or positive things that happen in our life is there for a reason. But those things that don't happen, we want it so bad, and yet it, maybe it doesn't, actually turns out to be the best thing for you. Think about that. Think about a situation or a time that actually happened. You wanted something so bad. Maybe you wanted that job. Maybe you wanted that client. Maybe you wanted that employee to come and help you. Maybe you wanted that relationship, and it didn't pan out. And something else instead came your way. Well, then the next thing you know, you're like, wow, that was even better than what was lined up beforehand. How great is that? And yet, again, we spend so much time in that disappointment, in that miss, in that rejection, maybe. We spend so much time there that we actually drain ourselves and lose time in really finding what really is the optimal thing that, the universe wants to bring into our life. So success is largely the failures you avoid. Health is the injuries you don't sustain. Wealth is the purchases you don't make. Happiness is the objects you don't desire. And peace of mind is the arguments you don't engage. Avoid the bad to protect the good. Love it. Absolutely love it. All right, moving on. Let's get to some other hacks. We addressed the mindset. Now let's work on, actually, we're going to have, maybe I'll jump to that, because another mindset hack is really around distractions. And we all have it, right? Because distractions can be mental. They can be caused by the fact that we're just bored, or we're just frustrated, or we are sitting there, beating ourselves up because we don't have a skill or a talent that we talked about. So distraction management, I call it, is a form of looking at your productivity proactively. If you know things that get in your way, if you know things that do distract you, if you know things that take you off course, if you know that there are things that, don't work in your favor, then as opposed to waiting for it to happen and getting all wigged out and getting all procrastinated and all delayed and maybe even over budget, so forth and so on, think about them up front. Consider what it is that gets in your way, because it does every time it happens, and yet you don't necessarily sit back and say, oh, I want to think through those proactively and put a plan in place or solutions in place to prevent them. So simple example. Say you get distracted by all the notifications that come across your phone or your laptop. while you're trying to work on a project. You know, you have email up, you have social sites up, you have Amazon up, you have your phone, you know, ringers on, or maybe the beep, 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 beep is on. All you really need to do, if you really want to put your head down and work on something, even if it's for 5 minutes and you want to get it done and you want it to be free of opportunities for sabotage, then simply turn those things off. All right. So if you're, you know, everybody's working, you know, remotely right now, right? So if you are in an environment where there's kids or, you know, your partner or spouse or whomever, you know, in the house, or maybe, you know, renters or in, you know, in your space, then proactively set up your environment in such a way that prevents any real interruption that's going to take you off course. And that environment actually includes, you set expectations, you lay out a plan for yourself as far as, you know, what hours are you going to be working, and, you know, making sure that those people in the house understand that between 9 and 12, I can't be interrupted. By, you know, from noon to 2, I need quiet. You know, I need to be doing certain work. Maybe I'm on calls with a client. Maybe I'm, you know, live streaming, maybe, you know, whatever the case might be. You know, even with the kids, when they need time to study, you're really good at making sure that your kids are focused and distraction free, but are you? So distraction. Okay. Now, when it comes to goals, I want you to really focus on, and I will provide all of you that have registered to attend the Goals to Riches Mastery Summit. I'll provide you all various templates. I have a document of 9 productivity hacks, and there's a number of them that have templates that go along with them. So I'll provide those to you post, obviously post you viewing this session. But when it comes to goals, the one thing, I'm a huge advocate of setting your goals. Maybe it's at a year level, breaking them down to a quarter, to a month, to a week. And then from that week, you're just focused every day on that weekly goal, and really identifying, only 3 actions on any given day. It might be 1 because it's big. But I'm really an advocate for taking your SMART goals, which we won't go into right now, and really breaking them down into that year, quarter, month, week. And then from that week, you're focused every day on what goal you're going to work on and achieve that contributes to that weekly goal. But nowadays, people are really overwhelmed. You might be really stressed out and wigged out with just everything. And so I wouldn't even want you to worry about your goal. So it's for Q4, right? I mentioned that. I have a number of people saying to me, well, it's October. What more can I do before the end of the year? My clients don't spend in October, November, December. And if they do, it stops right around, mid-November. And then they don't in December. They give me every excuse in the world as to why they're going to take their foot off the pedal and slow down. And I can't express to them enough how Q4 is a huge opportunity. Whether you work, for someone else, you work for yourself, whether you sell services or products, whatever business that you're in, Q4 is huge. And the reason why is because, one, even, when it comes to, I can't ask for a raise, or I can't ask for a promotion, or I can't, secure that client, ask them to spend that money because it's at the end of the year versus the beginning of next year. And I sit there and say, well, wait a minute, yes, because plans are being made for January, and oftentimes they want them in place before January comes along. So that's promotions, right? There's monies that they have to spend out of their budgets before the end of the year, or they don't have that same budget the following year. So it's basically, budget management. And therefore they are hiring, they are, giving bonuses, they are buying. so forth and so on, because they have this money that they need to be spending before the end of the year, or they lose it. Not only that, but there's still business problems or still personal, problems, let's call them problems, that need to be solved between October and December. So don't fall on your laurels around the fact that, no one spends in Q4. I mean, keep in mind, retail has its biggest quarter Q4. And it actually only comes from like mid-November to December. Consider from a kind of time management perspective, consider the fact that typically in a football game, the most points are scored in the last few minutes. Think basketball, especially. All of a sudden, people don't slow down as the clock runs out. They actually speed up. They accelerate. And so when it comes to, the approach that you're going to take between now and the end of the year, it needs to be put foot on that pedal and go. All right. So in order to kind of say, yes, I want to do that, then consider not focusing on that big goal end result that you had. Maybe you had it at the beginning of the year. Maybe it was, set up at the middle of the year. Maybe you didn't have a goal and now you're setting it. Don't focus on the end result. Focus on the actions that you need to take and the fact that you're going to take them and then you're going to complete them. So you're gaining a lot of achievement. Focus on the actions. If you feel that, oh, wow, there's no way I'm going to be able to achieve my goal. So for instance, if you have a sales goal, let's just make it easy and say, oh, I want to make $30,000 now and the end of the year. And yet you don't have anything in the pipeline. Don't worry about the 30,000 then. Focus on, all right, what number of prospect meetings do I need to get on the books? What number of requests for proposals do I need to ensure, I can convert? What, number of contracts I need to write up, and how many, closes am I going to accomplish between now and the end of the year? It's almost like, think about losing weight. If you had this big goal at the beginning of the year to lose weight, but you've waited and waited and waited, and now you don't feel, oh, I'm never going to do that before the end of the year, I only have 3 months. Well, don't focus on that weight goal that you had. Focus on, all right, what can I do around working my way into focusing on my health and my fitness? So maybe I just, I'm going to now just focus on getting to the gym 3 times a week. I'm going to focus on, my diet and taking out sugar, which I have done for the last 30 days. And today is the day I can go like crazy, but I'm not going to, but I will give myself a treat. That's for sure. So instead of worrying about the big thing that might be getting in your way as you work into Q4, opening up 2021, focus on the actions that then need to be taken. Okay. And then as we move to 2021, closer to 2021, we'll come back and we'll have a longer discussion around, making sure you do have those goals in place. Okay. Let's see. I think that is it from no, there was one, another one, because there's 9 time management productivity hacks. And again, I'll share this document with all those that have participated in our Goals to Riches Mastery Summit. But there is one, and it's around priority management. And what that means is not everything is a priority. And for those of you who work in corporate, this also goes to the fact that you may have a lot of people throwing work at you saying, oh, I need to have it tomorrow. Oh, I need to have it, by the end of the day. Oh, I need to have it in the next hour. Maybe you get, oh, I need it by the end of the week. Well, if you were to really push the subject, push that priority and say to them, how is it going to be used at the end of the day or tomorrow or next week? Is it really that, where is it really that priority? Does it really need to be done because I have these other things on my plate? Or can I give it to you in a couple of days? I would say 8 out of 10. I won't say 9 out of 10. 8 out of 10 times when someone challenges someone else's priority given to them, it's not as urgent. But anybody's going to say they want it, yesterday. It's your job from a priority management perspective to not only look at your work and really understand what your priorities are, and make sure you're working on the right priority, but it's also important that all the stuff that's being thrown at you at home or at work, you should challenge. Is this really something that needs to be done today? Is this something that's more important than what I already have on my plate, X, Y, and Z? And, make sure that not only are you kind of evaluating and assessing that, but you cause someone else to also really consider whether or not what they're saying must be done today, tomorrow, or next week is really the priority. So you're, really needing to be focused on priority setting your workload, but also make sure that you're prioritizing and challenging the workload that's being given to you. Okay. All right. So that was our productivity hacks for today. We're just both mindset and some very, kind of tactical everyday disciplines, habits, and routines that would help you really be clear, be focused, be energized, be persistent, and be determined to achieve your goals. And that's what this whole week of our Goals to Riches Mastery Summit was meant to do. And I hope that you got everything out of it that you wanted to and that you were expecting. And I would absolutely love any feedback and comments that you would have in regards to it. All right. So for the whole Goals to Riches community, the whole Shift to Riches community, the whole Ball of Fire coaching community, I want to thank you for being part of this unbelievable, powerful summit and making it as a great, great transformative event for everybody. And then just stay within the community. Please join our Shift to Riches private group community on Facebook and continue the conversation, because all we're about is collaborating and engaging and lifting people up and helping them achieve the riches in their lives that they want. And I also want to invite you to join in on our 5-day Goals to Riches challenge that begins on October 19th. Since February, we've held this challenge 3 times, and it's extremely popular and extremely impactful for those people that might be a bit stressed, stuck, lost, apprehensive about what to do and how to do it. And what we do is over that 5 days, we are giving you the traits of highly successful people that you can consider embedding into your own practices. And then we actually help you craft the vision of what you want your work, your life, your family, everything to look like, of which then gets translated into goals, which then we give you even more and more productivity hacks to really ensure that you are that massive producer, revenue generator, and abundance creator. And then we top it off with complimentary coaching all through the week to ensure that not only are you learning it and putting it into action, but you're achieving. And we love small steps resulting in big results. So that's what we want for you. So go to goalstoriches.com and register today for our October 19th kickoff of our 5-day Goals to Riches Challenge. It's free. So you have nothing to lose. All right. I will see you soon. And thank you again for making our Goals to Riches Mastery Summit such a success. Take care, everybody.